Thanks for joining us here on RT. This week, a U.S. show of force resulted in confusion after it turned out the American president wasn't entirely sure where his fleet was going. Donald Trump declared he was sending an armada to the shores of North Korea, but the aircraft carrier strike group was then spotted heading the other way to Australia. Here's Caleb Mopan.
Trump has decided to tell North Korea that he means business. Over a week ago, he decided to announce that a deployment of U.S. naval vessels was on its way.
We are sending an armada, very powerful. We have submarines, very powerful.
Pence backed up Trump, describing him as a kind of knight on a white horse, prepared to unsheath his sword against the forces of darkness.
Under President Trump, the shield stands guard, and the sword stands ready.
But when he said that noble sword of justice, an armada of ships, was actually moving in the opposite direction. And over the weekend, it kept going the other way, toward the Indian Ocean. The U.S. military's Pacific Command explained that first the strike group was completing a shorter than initially planned period of training with Australia, but that it was now proceeding to the Western Pacific as ordered.
We said that it was heading there, and it was heading there. It is heading there.
Yes, Trump looked like quite the hero on TV, but it appears almost as if he had no idea what was really going on with the ships. And it gets worse. People are now starting to question whether or not Donald Trump actually knows Kim Jong-un's name. He just kept referring to him as the gentleman.
You know, they've been talking with this gentleman for a long time. You read Clinton's book, he said, oh, we made such a great peace deal and it was a joke. They've all been outplayed by this gentleman, and we'll see what happens.
Plus, he referred to him working with Bill Clinton and negotiating over nuclear weapons. These are things that happened under Kim's father and grandfather. Well, they all bear the same name, so hint to Trump, just refer to the leader of North Korea as Kim. The trouble doesn't stop at North Korea. It turns out that the U.S. president isn't too good at geography either.
We've just launched 59 missiles heading to Iraq.
Well, you headed to Syria?
Yes, heading toward Syria.
You have the impression, a well-deserved impression, that the President of the United States actually doesn't know what he's talking about. He's following somebody else's script. Unfortunately, the dominant script in the United States and in Washington has been written by the military-industrial complex and those who have a neoconservative, hawkish military foreign policy. So Trump, in fact, looks like an actor, a reality show TV star actor who's getting his lines wrong. I mean, well, maybe he is.
The British Prime Minister surprised many this week by calling a snap general election for the 8th of June this year. It signals a U-turn for Theresa May, who had repeatedly insisted she would not hold the vote until 2020.
She wants us to believe that she is a woman of her word. Isn't the truth that we cannot believe a single word?
I think it is right now to ask the British people to put their trust in me and the Conservative Party to deliver on their vote last year, a Brexit plan that will make a success for this country.
Theresa May claims her intention is to achieve unity during the Brexit process and to ease tough negotiations with the EU. However, as RT's Paula Sleer reports, opposition parties are gearing up for a fight.
Ms May, Home Secretary.
Theresa May wants more power.
At this moment of enormous national significance, there should be unity here in Westminster. But instead, there is division.
And polls suggest this is her time. Around half of the public prefer keeping Theresa May as Prime Minister, while opposition Labour Party leader Jeremy Corbyn languishes behind with 14%. Even so, he says he's ready.
I welcome the opportunity for us to put the case to the people of Britain, to stand up against this government and its failed economic agenda.
But leading the polls is no guarantee of victory. One of May's key rivals thinks her move's a miscalculation.
In Scotland, we have strong voices against the direction that a Tory government wants to take, voices that will stand up for Scotland, that will stand up for our values.
The Prime Minister wants a bigger Westminster power base to get parliamentary unity as Britain leaves the EU. But even the Brexit standard-bearers, the UK Independence Party, sense a chance to rock May's boat.
It's an opportunity for the United Kingdom Independence Party to be standing in those areas where they were very strong and actually to see what we can do there. So we'll be putting up some strong resistance as well, so it won't necessarily be all her own way, for sure.
If all goes to plan, British voters will be back at the polls in 7 weeks. And while May is banking on riding the poll wave to silence the Remainers, half the country sees this general election as the Brexit referendum rerun they always wanted. Paula Sleer, RT, London.
Meanwhile, the President of the European Parliament has hinted that if the June 8th vote changes Britain's mind on Brexit, the country would be welcome to stay in the EU. However, Nathan Gill, an MEP for the UK Independence Party, says May actually wants to show Brussels the country is behind her.
The polling is very strong for her. She only has a majority of 18 right now. She can possibly come out of this with a majority of 100, 140 even, which means that when she goes through the negotiation process and then brings it back to Westminster, she'll be able to walk it, and that's what she wants to do, and that, I guess, is, you know, better for her negotiating arm, because if she goes in front of the European Parliament and she's saying to them, I was elected on this, not I was appointed or I became Prime Minister because the previous Prime Minister resigned, but she was actually elected on it, well, of course she's going to be much, much stronger in those negotiations.